Hello to all our magical listeners. We are Marie and Kate. Together, we love to chat about mindful magic. Mindful magic is intentionally, mindfully traveling through each day, each task, every little mundane thing you need to do with a magical mindset. Let's get magical and start this episode.
Welcome back to Mindful Magic. It's spooky season, ghosts, ghouls, and that friend who insists on rewatching The Conjuring with the lights off. Witches, we're always here. So imagine walking into a basement lined with crucifixes and candlelight, and in the center of the room, behind glass, a smiling Raggedy Ann doll wearing a sign that reads, "Warning, positively do not open." That's not a movie prop. That's the real Annabelle, part of Ed and Lorraine Warren's private collection and the beating heart of a legacy that blurred the line between faith and folklore.
That's right. They called it spiritual warfare. They said evil was as real as electricity. You can see it, you can't see it, but you can feel its effects. And for decades, they chased it, documented it, and sometimes invited it home.
Tonight, we are stepping inside their world, the real Warrens, the true cases that inspired the Conjuring Universe, the new fear flick Last Rites, and why energetic shielding must just be the modern witch's popcorn companion.
And by the way, have you seen the current movie, Kate? It's probably impossible with young kids, but
No, I don't really watch scary movies anymore. I used to love American Horror Story and I can't sit through it. I don't know why.
Yeah, and I'm still like I just love getting scared, I guess because it's safe when it's on a screen, maybe.
Yeah. I
But
used to love them.
yeah, yeah. And this movie, the Last Rites, it is so creepy and I won't spoil it, but I screamed multiple times and I don't scream at movies. I had to put the food down that I was eating because for fear of like throwing it somewhere. So if you haven't seen it, it's a really good jump scare type.
Hmm.
So here we go. Light your candle, start your protection simmer pot, and remember what you give attention to awakens. This is Mindful Magic, the Warrens, legend, lore, and the receipts. Tonight we carefully, carefully open the case, that glass case. Hi, Annabelle. To talk to Ed and Lorraine Warren, the real couple behind the legends, the lore, and yes, the receipts. What's documented, what's disputed, and what still sends chills through pop culture.
Plus, what's happening around the Conjuring Last Rites. People's strange post movie stories, that Matt Rife rumor, which I don't think that's a rumor, about him buying the Warren home. He doesn't really buy it. I feel like he has ownership, but he doesn't own what's in it. Um, but, anyways, and we're also going to talk about how to protect your energy before you step into any dark theater or scroll too long on horror TikTok.
Right. So, Ed and Lorraine Warren were America's original paranormal power couple. He called himself a self-taught demonologist. She was a clairvoyant and light trance medium. They met as teens in Connecticut, married young, and somehow turned ghost hunting into a vocation.
I love that. And here's the fun part, which I did not know. Ed was an artist first. They would drive through New England. They would he'd sketch old houses, especially haunted ones, and give the painting to homeowners while casually asking, "So, what's the story behind it?" Instant case file.
Right. After World War II, he used his GI Bill to study at the Perry Art School. This one is affiliated with Yale. He painted signs, portraits, and again, like above, even houses before those sketches of haunted homes turned into interviews.
Ed and Lorraine met as teens in Bridgeport, sometimes telling the story like a movie. Ed working at a theater, Lorraine there with her mom, two kids who'd end up chasing ghosts together. And they formalized it in 1952 as, this is I apologize. I blended these two. So, and then after that, they formalized Nesper. This is in 1952. Marie, is that correct? I apologize. I just wanted.
Yeah. No, no, no.
Okay, I just wanted to make
Yep.
sure
In
because it was so close
1952.
to their wedding. I didn't blend that very well. Sorry, guys.
No.
So they formalized it, NESPR, New England Society for Psychic Research. So this is one of the earliest U.S. groups focused on hauntings and demonology.
I know. Think back, 1952. That's
That's
pretty
why I was like, "Are you sure?"
cool. That's so long ago. So, and over time, they collected haunted artifacts, cursed relics, Ouija boards, and one very famous Raggedy Ann doll that was locked behind the glass.
And not porcelain, Raggedy Ann. The Warrens said a demonic entity masqueraded as a child to gain trust. Whether you believe that or not, the moral still holds. Curiosity is fine, but consent is everything.
Right. And we had to emphasize, those of you out there who know, Raggedy Ann is a literal raggedy cloth doll, not the porcelain doll in the movies, but that one is much creepier, right, Kate?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I was surprised when I saw that because I feel like we learned that we did an Annabelle episode, which was a really fun episode too. And we're like, oh wow, the movie's really, you know, what would you call that when they take it or make it creepier?
Uh,
They did it.
definite, horror creative license.
Yeah, yeah.
But it
So
works. It
yeah,
works
it
because a
did.
Raggedy Ann doll is not in and of itself that scary looking.
Yeah. Well, when we posted all of our reels, Marie, everyone kept saying, sorry, sorry. I'm like, what does this mean? Like all over TikTok, when we post our video. And I realized that's like a little superstition in the community, that you're not supposed to look at her.
Oh, you were saying,
So
I didn't pay attention at the time. I saw that, and I think we talked about it, but I didn't realize that that was such a thing.
I didn't either until, we were posting and are sharing our creepy reels. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I had to do some research. And yeah, so that's why everyone says sorry. We're probably going to get some more, especially since this new movie's out. But
Yeah,
uh,
especially, and that's
mhm,
okay. It's like knocking on wood. It's okay.
exactly, whatever works for you.
Yeah. So, in respect, to Ed and Lorraine, and their museum was their warning: dark energy can cling to things. Respect the glass, respect the story.
Right. And we're going to, so the new film, Last Rites, is hitting like an energetic thunderclap. So viewers are posting about nightmares, flickering lights, and feeling off for days.
Right. And whether that's spiritual residue or simple fear conditioning, one thing's clear: fear is a frequency. The more attention you feed it, the louder it hums.
Hmm. Um, so Marie, okay, that's there. Sorry, I got lost for a second. So here's a 30-second energetic shield before your next horror marathon. And again, you can make this your own, but this is how I would do it. Feet flat on the ground, take in a deep breath, and visualize yourself in a white gold sphere around your body. You can make, as Joe taught us, you can make the sphere as big as you want, front, back, all sides, top, bottom. And then you could say Archangel Michael or my angels, guides, reinforce this shield with divine light. Only love in and only love out. I also do this over my television as well, even my phone.
Yeah. Oh, especially the devices. Yeah. Movies are make believe, but your energy is real. Guard it like the priceless relic it is.
That's right. So we're going to talk a little bit about case files and controversies, the receipts. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Amityville horror in 1974. So the DeFeo murders are a fact. The Lutz haunting is heavily disputed.
Right. The Lutz family. They and I gotta say something. Right as we started talking about this, there is a big fat fly in my room flying around. It was not, and my door is shut. Like, I don't know where this guy came from, but this guy, you might even hear it buzzing. It's really big.
Yeah, we're
That's
going
so
to go ahead and call
creepy.
Archangel Michael in now. Let's follow our own advice.
Yeah. Oh, I need Archangel Michael instead of his sword. I need him to have a fly swatter.
Swipe ladder. Lies, water of light.
Yes, please. So even the DeFeo's attorney, William Weber, later says parts were concocted over many bottles of wine, quote unquote. And a 1975, I'm sorry, a 1979 judge tossed related claims of like demonic possession. Later owners reported no ongoing phenomena, and but cultural impact massive, the evidence a little shaky.
I do remember that movie. That was really creepy. So the next one we're going to talk about is quote unquote the devil made me do it. So this is Arnie Cheyenne Johnson. So Brookfield, Connecticut, after a violent altercation, Arnie Johnson's defense claimed demonic possession. The court didn't buy it. He was convicted of first-degree manslaughter and served 5 years of a 10 to 20-year sentence.
Wow, first degree manslaughter, and he only served 5 years.
Right. Wow.
Well, the first US case to ever try a quote unquote possession defense. It made headlines, inspired the movie, and reminded the world that law and mysticism rarely share the same courtroom. And this comes from the Snedeker case in Connecticut. So a family moves into a former funeral home. They claim horrifying supernatural activity, and skeptical authors and investigators later question its accuracy. Some even called parts fabricated.
And whether exaggeration or misunderstanding, it shows how trauma, grief, and suggestion can blur the line between haunting and haunting memory.
Right. And so now there's, the Perrin family from The Conjuring, the Rhode Island roots of that. So this farmhouse haunting launched the Conjuring Universe. The Perrin family's experience were very dramatic, and Hollywood made them cinematic. If you want to read one of the daughter's accounts, you can check out her book. It's called House of Darkness, House of Light: The True Story, Volume 1 by Andrea Perrin.
So, historical, some, verified, hardly, but energetic blueprint, that's very possible. Old New England houses hold stories like wood holds smoke. So the next we're going to get into is Annabelle and the Occult Museum. So back to the doll who started it all, Annabelle. The 1970s, two nursing students, a Raggedy Ann doll, Strange Activity, and the Warrens' intervention. They sealed her in that now famous glass case.
Right. The Monroe Occult Museum, which was in their house, closed to the public in 2019. There were zoning issues, residential neighborhood, but of course, the private events continued.
Yeah, and then plot twist in this year, 2025, comedian Matt Rife and YouTuber Elton Casti reportedly purchased the Warren property and artifacts, planning an offsite museum and limited guest stays. So I do think they might possibly have like Airbnb style, which I don't know about that.
Right, because if there was zoning issues already and it had to shut down, they looked at that as an opportunity to purchase it. And yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to do. And
Me too.
yeah, and the family voices on this aren't aligned. The Warrens' grandson, Chris McKinnell, worries about commercialization of the sacred objects that are inside, reminding everyone the collection was historically handled with extreme caution.
A translation: do not open the case for content.
Right. So, spoiler alert, if you guys have not seen The Last Rites, mute or la 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 la, plug your ears for a second. So, blah blah, quick myth check. So, viewers kept asking, did that priest from The Conjuring, The Last Rites, really hang himself?
Nope. Father Gordon is a fictional character, and the quote unquote suicide storyline is exclusive to The Conjuring Last Rites. No real priest connected to the Warrens died that way.
Little little disclaimer, no priests were harmed in the filming of this movie.
Thank
So,
goodness.
here's what we can do, a little something something for if you plan on watching any scary stuff this weekend. It is the season, so if you're watching scary stuff, let's alchemize that energy with a little simmer pot. So this is something that you can have going. You can start it up before the scary movie and during and after. So you're going to want to take 1 to 2 cups of water for clarity, 3 bay leaves or so. These will banish fear and seal your aura with protection. 2 to 3 cinnamon sticks, and that's for strength and warmth. A little bit of rosemary or whole cloves, ground cloves if that's all you have. That's to purify the air, and a slice of lemon. Lemon brings light and renewal. Or if you want to use a little bit of orange, which I love, just for the color too, for some much needed warmth and cheer. And if you so choose, a little pinch of salt just for some grounding.
I love that, Marie.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and just save this for if you want to save this for your protection for Thanksgiving with relatives. No, I'm just kidding. But I love that. I can like smell it. That's definitely
Not
so.
kidding.
Kidding, not kidding. Just depending. Yeah, whoever's listening. So you're gonna bring all that to a gentle simmer, like Marie was saying. You can have this going during. Just make sure you keep an eye on it and you can see it as the steam curls through the room. Picture it weaving a net of light over your space. This is going to keep your home a high vibe and your imagination safe to wander. So when the credits roll, pour it out with gratitude. Only love remains.
Love that. You know, I
And I
really love the visualization of as the steam curls, because you can see the steam in your mind and then it dissipates to the entire room. I just love that.
I do too. And I can almost feel the I can feel the steam when I read that. I agree with you. And we are gonna share this on social so you can save this recipe. Save it and share it. And next we're gonna get into haunted America where history won't stay quiet. So let's widen the lens. Supposed real haunted places where history and energy overlap.
Right. So we're coming from some, sensationalized potential haunted cases. There was some talk about, did the Warrens do this for publicity? Did they do it to make money, book deals, all of that? We're just putting it out there. It's important to look at both sides. And nothing like we said, they turned it into a vocation, so good on them. But we wanted to also talk about some what we feel like are real documented, haunted places. And I think everybody can agree that Gettysburg battlefield, Pennsylvania, is one of those. There were 51,000 casualties in 3 days. If you can just wrap your brain around 51,000 casualties in just 72 hours, that's beyond. Kate, can you even imagine?
It gives me chills. My whole body's in chills when you say that. I can't
Yeah.
imagine. No.
And visitors, they go there obviously for the history, but there's a lot of paranormal buffs that go there because there have been documented activity there. Visitors hear drums, they hear gunfire, they hear marching boots. And I've seen footage of like soldiers in their Civil War regalia, their uniforms. And is it real? Fake? Who knows? But it's all very cool. And also I've heard some audio. And the thing, it's getting harder and harder with AI these days to even know what's real and what's fake, but either way, it's still kind of cool.
Agreed. It's interesting. And we have talked about that. I believe it was the past episode and how to use discernment now, like you were just saying with AI. So we've talked about that just recently. So whether residual energy or collective grief, that land hums. Like I can feel it when we tune into it. It's just always enter with respect, never thrill seeking.
Right.
The next one, we're going to talk about St. Augustine Lighthouse in Florida. So this was built in 1871. 3 young girls drowned in a rail car accident 2 years later.
That's so sad. So I know it's just there's the tragedy. Is it an imprint? Is it like a trauma imprint, or are they really stuck there? I think that's the big question, right?
Yeah, we could definitely have Mariah back on to talk about that too.
Yeah. So the tours report things like giggles and little tiny handprints. So if you ever sense a child energy, send comfort, not questions. If there's little tiny energies there, just send them love, you know.
I love that. Yeah.
And
That's so
then
true, Marie.
it is, right? Um, and then there's the Queen Mary in California. And this has always been one I've wanted to investigate. And it's been shut down. I think they do use it for events. There was some kind of Celtic event that I really wanted to go to, some kind of festival or something there recently. So I guess whatever association runs it, it used to be a hotel. So it was an ocean liner turned hotel. And over the years, there were dozens of deaths. Um, Door 13's crushed sailor legend endures, and we can go into that, and we've still got more October, we can talk more into it, but isn't it interesting?
It is. I have this fear of the ocean and ships. Like I would never get on a cruise ship, and like I would love to visit Queen Mary. I totally agree, but the thought of it being on water, it just freaks me out. It has to be like, excuse me, I'm healing. Um, that sounds so interesting, but it is like terrifying to me to think about. I don't know why.
Probably, Kate, you probably had a past life where you went down on a ship. You were a sailor or something, and you went down with your
Yeah.
ship. It's got to be something like that. But at least with this
Yeah.
one, it is on. And I believe that not only is it docked, but it's like um, I believe that it's welded, like the big mooring lines, the anchor, I mean, the chains and stuff, if I'm not mistaken, and please somebody, let us know if this isn't right, but I think it's welded there. Like it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, even skeptics, they feel the shift on that ship. Metal holds memory, and also I feel like just being on water, and then with the metal, you know.
Right. Right.
Next, we're going to talk about Waverly Hills Sanatorium. This is in Kentucky.
Ooh,
Yeah,
scary.
so
There's
this was
been
it is
oof.
this is once a tuberculosis hospital, now a ghost hunter mecca.
And Kate, this one has been on so many of the ghost hunter shows because it's so popular. And I don't I you must have seen it, I'm sure. It's enormous. It's like I mean, I'm kind of going off memory here, but maybe like 5 stories, 5 floors or so, and it's long. There's many wings. So, with it being a tuberculosis hospital, there were just many, many, many deaths of like from young to old. So, there were at least 6,000 documented deaths there. That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot. So, whether it's spirits or suggestion, it's a master class in heavy energy, that's for sure. Bring grounding stones and leave with sunlight, like at the purest simple form when you're entering a place like that. It's Kate, 6,000 documented deaths. So it was, I know tuberculosis was a huge decimator of the population at one time, but when they're concentrated in a a what is it called? A sanatorium like that, that the energy has to be heavy. And I've seen some of those shows where yeah, there could be multiple people in there ghost hunting at one time. The thing is big. It is really big, but I mean, I've seen some things that it looks pretty haunted. It looks pretty active in there.
I've seen that on a show as well, and I'm getting dizzy thinking about it. They had a psychic medium show where they were competing, and it was so good. But it was like there's so many, not only the tuberculosis, there's so much pain, there was so much trauma. Just terrible things happened to people there too. So it wasn't just like about the illness, it was like the trauma other, people endured.
Right.
It was really intense.
Yeah, healthcare wasn't like it is and now, and I mean, even there's some tragedies that's obviously still happen, but healthcare workers weren't the kindest, when there were so many patients at one time too. So yeah, I can see the trauma there. And like with any of you guys out there listening, if you have any type of, second sight, and Kate, I know you this happens with you, but if I go into a place that's dark, Like, it almost lights up for me. I It's like sometimes I feel like I almost see more in the dark than I do in the light. It's
I
very
agree.
alarming,
Yeah, I
right?
don't I'm pretty much a homebody, so I don't really do a lot like at night, but like at night I love it when it's dark because I agree, especially when you're doing meditation, you can see things so much clearer and it is I love the being in the dark. It just
Yeah,
is so comforting to me.
it is. It's very
But
comforting.
being in a place like that though, I don't know. I don't know how I would feel. I would maybe that would actually help you tune in because if you have your protection, you wouldn't really have to worry, but I feel like it would be easier to tune in. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, totally. I feel like that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So there, and some of you might have heard also of the Villisca Axe Murder House in Iowa. So this was in 1912. There were 8 victims, and the killer was never caught.
Creepy. And
Creepy.
overnight guests hear, yeah, they hear laughter and footsteps, and they have a rule. So rule one is close every session, even a whispered thank you and goodbye. So they must be like really protective of that space. So there's got to be a lot of activity there if they're saying that. Next is the Whaley House and the Myrtles Plantation. So the Whaley House sits on an execution site. Visitors smell cigar smoke and hear pianos.
Right. So the Myrtles Plantation, darn it, is that in Georgia? I'm trying to remember where that is. I've been to the Whaley House. That's in San Diego in like Old Town. And the Whaley House definitely has there were gallows there, and there's like a courthouse and stuff, and then it's also was a home, and I could feel and see I saw a child there, and I saw men, like multiple men. They say that Mr. Whaley, I forget his first name, so forgive me, no disrespect meant, but that he still cruises around there. And I don't know if it was him or not that I saw. Um, I took lots of pictures, and there were some interesting things in the pictures, but that one definitely has some residual energy. So the Myrtles
It,
Plantation calls itself one of America's most haunted homes, though parts of its slave ghost legend are more folklore than fact. But I've seen pictures from there too, and it kind of looks like there's some ghosts peeking out.
I looked it up, Marie, because we knew where it was, and there is definitely activity there. Like you can tell by looking at the picture, you can feel it. But it's in Francisville, Louisiana.
Oh, sorry, Louisiana. Thank you, Louisiana.
Just for our listeners. And then, so either way, the veil between history and haunting is thin, where suffering once lingered.
Right. So if you find yourself finishing a horror flick and you just feel weirdly heavy, a couple of little things you can do. This is like fear hygiene after a movie. A little, just some simple things. Open a window if you can, if there's no storm outside. Open a window, rinse your hands in some salty water. That helps ground you, and it helps just cleanse that icky energy. And also, something simple, name 3 things that you love that's in the room. That brings, the light in back into the room, and connecting you and grounding you with physical objects. And say aloud, "I reclaim my energy across all timelines, and only love remains."
I love that. And if you still feel static, you can put a glass of water with salt and a lemon beside your bed overnight. This is going to help absorb excess energy while you sleep. And then you pour it out in the morning and start fresh.
I know, that's such a good one. Well, the Warrens blurred the line between faith and folklore, obviously, between investigation and storytelling. Whether you call them pioneers or performers, their legacy reshaped the modern myth of the supernatural.
And maybe that's the real haunting, the reminder that belief itself is power. What you focus on expands. So choose wisely what you're focusing on and where your energy is.
Right. And so Ed Warren passed away on August 23rd, 2006, and Lorraine on April 18th, 2019. And she was his sole, reports of his sole caregiver. She was dedicated to her husband. She was his caregiver until his death. So sweet.
Oh, that is sweet. And their daughter Judy and son-in-law Tony Spira helped steward the collection for years, which is why debates about access and commercialization hit so personally for the family,
Right.
as
So
you can
if you
imagine.
right, like, especially I'm I'm so curious about the details of Matt Rife's deal, like,
I
what
am too.
does he get? And it makes me I know that Matt Rife and his partner, not in that way, but his business partner, they did their ghost hunting stuff. Like they're not going into this blind. They have to know what they're getting into. I just, I pray that they everything if everything is true and there are demonically possessed artifacts in there, and I know that the Warrens, they had a priest come over monthly to bless it and try to keep everything contained. Let's just hope that, if that is the truth, that this continues. And it's, can only imagine it's going to be like a scene from Ghostbusters where all the spirits escape, let loose
Who
on
let
the
them
world.
out?
So if you catch The Conjuring, The Last Rites, shield first, simmer your pot, and walk out grounded. It was creepy and had so many scares.
And keep your light on. And if you ever meet Annabelle, admire her from across the room.
Right.
I also, what was that, Marie? Sorry.
No, right. Like, no, you don't need to be going up to any glass case and try to interact with Annabelle.
No. Before we close the episode, we have to remind our listeners, we have something special for the dark half of the year, Grimoire. So we just want to remind you of this giveaway that we have.
Yeah. So this is something that Kate and I wrote just for our listeners. It's from Mindful Magic. It's filled with rituals, protection spells, moon magic, and journal prompts to help you stay grounded and connected as we move deeper into the darker months.
Yes, and this is for every Mindful Magic subscriber. So this is not just a giveaway for one person.
Right. And not just new subscribers. So all you need to do is email us a quick screenshot showing us that you're subscribed. And whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, or anywhere that podcasts are played, we'll send you your PDF copy of the Dark Half of the Year Grimoire directly to your inbox.
Yeah, that is our gift from us to you for walking this mindful, magical path with us.
I love it. So you can email us at mindfulmagicchannel@gmail.com. Do it today so you can get your dark half of the year grimoire, because the dark half of the year isn't meant to be feared. It's where the light you've built finally starts to shine from within.
Thank you for listening.
If you have any questions or topics you would like to hear Marie and I discuss, please comment below, send us a message, or reach out to us on Instagram. We like to close each episode with a moment of mindfulness. Take a deep breath and think about what you're grateful for today. We're now going to bless everything that you're grateful for and let your higher self and guides know that you are open for even more blessings. We bid you farewell until we meet again. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. We hope your day is filled with love, happiness, undeniable signs, and mindful magic. You can check out Marie's handmade candles, soaps, lotions, and more at kitchenwitchhawaii.com, and you can follow her on Instagram. You can book an angel reading with me, check out my books, and sign up for our angel magic community at katewhitneyofficial.com. And be sure to follow Mindful Magic on YouTube at Mindful Magic Channel. We are also on Facebook and Instagram.